Bandidos, what up? Tux here, and I got 5 of the best XP builds you're gonna need. And you're gonna need them right now, and that's because the 5X XP event is just around the corner. So these come just in time for you to get ready. Let's do this.
Wait, did we just become best friends? So nice to meet you, I think you're cool.
Piece of shit wristwatch.
So today I'm bringing you 5 of the best XP builds for the Division 2, and we're gonna go quickly because we have a lot to get through. First things first, if you go into your main menu and then to the season menu and then over to events, you can see that there's a 5X XP event coming very soon. And it's not the only one, so you're gonna get a lot of mileage out of these XP builds. In my opinion, in order for an XP build to be an XP build, it needs to consider global directives. You go into your map menu and then to global settings, you can turn on global directives. There are 5 available and these rotate every season. So all the builds I'm presenting to you today have these exact directives in mind. Each directive is going to give you 25% additional XP on every activity you do, up to a total of 125% when you have all directives active. The biggest limiting factors from the global directives are scavenged skills. So when your skill gets destroyed or runs its duration, the only way to get your skill back is by collecting these little green tokens drop on kill. The quantity you need depends on the skill. The other largest limiting factor, especially for RPM based weapons, is pistolero. So there's going to be no ammo crates and hostiles will not drop ammo. The only way to get ammo is by killing an enemy with your pistol. For most builds, integrating pistol kills to keep up on ammo so that you can use your primary weapons is not going to make your XP farm efficient. So those are the global directives you want to think about mostly when creating your builds. Okay, let's start with our first build, which will be based on an RPM weapon. This first build has some creative solutions to get you the ammo that you need. It's going to be based off of ongoing directive. When you get a kill on an enemy that has a status effect, it's going to refill your mag automatically with hollow point ammo. That's free ammo. This also is supplied to your teammates if you have any. Otherwise, you're getting status effects, reload speed, and that ammo is going to apply bleed to your targets and 20% amplified damage. I'm running the chest piece. That's going to push you to a total of 50% amplified damage when you have special rounds. And then I'm running the gloves with crit damage, and I'm running the knees. So we're running the GR9 mostly for its excessively large mag. So you're gonna get a base 200 rounds and we're gonna hack that to almost 400 rounds of bleed ammo, which is like having an infinite supply of ammunition. Now we have damage to targets out of cover, damage to armor. Damage to armor is nice, it gives that bleed more of a punch. And then we have status, so you're gonna get 30% amp damage to bleeding enemies. Otherwise I have crit chance everywhere. For the backpack, I'm running Palisades for 10% armor on kill. That's one source of heals. And then we have crit chance and crit damage, and then I'm running Wicked. Applying a status effect increases total weapon damage by 18% for 20 seconds. And since you're always applying status effects, you're always gonna have Wicked. It's not just bleed you're putting on, you're also putting out a pulse. We're using the tactician drone that's got a magnificent range and duration, and you only get that by running sharpshooter. Right now the pulse is amazing in season 3. That's because it's applying the status effect and it's catching enemies on fire, and it's giving you 15% amplified damage to enemies that are pulsed when in overcharge, which is almost always with this build. That's all because of the modifiers. We'll run through that. The backup skill is up to you. I decided to just go with the decoy. It also pulses enemies that are targeting it, but you can also put a healer here if you want to. And then for the holster, I am running the Centurion Scabbard. Very good holster for this. This is how we're hacking into 400 rounds if you want to, or you can push it to an additional 20% rate of fire with 20% weapon damage. Whatever, they're both really good. 47% crit chance. I don't recommend going any higher than that because you're gonna have blacklisted targets that will give you 10% more crit chance and 10% more weapon handling. And then we have 115% crit hit damage. On this build, you're gonna be running Rogue Momentum as the base global modifier, and our goal is to get to unstoppable as fast as possible and maintain it for as long as possible. This means both your weapon and your skills are gonna be on overcharge. So that's 20% weapon skill damage, 20% movement speed, 20% reload speed, 25% rate of fire, and then your skills are on overcharge. I recommend Overdrive as the active modifier. This is going to give you 30% weapon damage, skill damage, 30% rate of fire, and unlimited ammo supply for 10 seconds when you use this, which isn't going to be that often, but it's a nice little boost, and you do want to kick off the fight by activating this. And then your penalties are going to be that you're going to have a reduction in momentum gain by 70% for 150 seconds while this thing's on cooldown, but you're not even going to need to worry about that. You're going to be able to maintain your momentum no problem. This is the most important passive modifier. It's called microwave coils. Up to 4 enemies affected by a pulse now receive the burn status effect, which gives you damage over time. They're going to be marked. You kill those guys, you get free ammo. And then you gain 5% bonus momentum for every affected hostile without even killing them. So this is going to help you maintain that overcharge effect for your weapon and skills. And because the tactician drone has this crazy high duration, it's just constantly sending out pulses. The next one is critical momentum. So critical hits have a 40% chance to grant 1% momentum, just another way to maintain. And then critical recovery is going to give you 0.5% of your maximum armor on crit. In my opinion, this is the best XP farm in the build. This is the one that I use every single season and have for the past, I don't know, year plus. It's absolutely dominant. So it's built off of the Hunter Fury gear set, which basically provides everything you need to succeed in this game. Ignore the 2-piece bonus. We're looking at the armor on kill at 20% and then Apex Predator. That's going to give you 20% amp damage just for standing there. And then an additional 5% amp damage that stacks 5 times and lasts for 10 seconds for any enemy you kill. One of the best things about this gear set is that it applies a status effect, a disorient to enemies nearby your kill. So everything's going to look like this for the most part. So we have armor, headshot damage, and protection from elites. So this is all built around headshot damage, but you don't have to be good at headshots to succeed with this build. You're going to only need to do 2 consecutive headshot kills from time to time. Here are the gloves, the knee pads, and the holster. For the chest piece, I'm running the Palisades. You could also run Providence here or Habsburg. This gives me an additional 10% armor on kill because I can. And so we're at 30% total armor on kill. We got armor, headshot damage, weapon handling, and more protection from elites. Don't worry about your protection from elites being perfect. 12% is fine. Headhunter here, this is mandatory. You need to make sure you have 150% headshot damage on your build so that you get the maximum punch out of this. You're gonna get 1,250% additional damage based off of your last headshot killing blow. The goal here is to get over 10 million per headshot after your first kill. From that point forward, you'll be able to chain kill even on the body. I'll show you how. The backpack is really important, and this is why I'm running all sorts of armor. It's because of the memento. I have 3 cores here, headshot damage, and then we're playing into really everything. So we're gonna get 30% weapon damage when we have collected 30 trophies. That's helpful damage. We don't really need it, but it's helpful, and the enemies can't take it away even if they damage us. And we're gonna get 5% more weapon damage when we pick up a trophy. That'll last for 10 seconds. And then we're gonna get bonus armor when we grab that same trophy. And it's gonna be 10% bonus armor per blue core. We're running 6. That's why we're running armor. 60% bonus armor on kill. It allows us to go shieldless and dominate. 3% armor regen when we have full 30 stacks, which will be no problem. And then skill efficiency at 30%, which includes everything: skill haste, skill duration, health, damage, status effects, etc. We're still running sharpshooter, maintain that. We're maintaining the same skills. Again, we choose the skills that have long durations and short cooldowns. So the decoy, the tactician drone, so we can catch everybody on fire with the pulse. My backup weapon is the Nemesis. I do use this from time to time to kick off the fight. Otherwise, I use the TAC 50 once it gets ammo. We're running rogue momentum. Again, the goal is to maintain unstoppable status, which is going to give our weapon and our skills overcharge. For this build, it's mostly about the reload speed, movement speed, and skill overcharge. We don't really need additional rate of fire or damage. The active modifier isn't super helpful for this case, except we do use it to just kick us into overcharge immediately, but we don't need any of the weapon boosts. This is the big one for the build. It's microwave coils, giving us even more survivability because everybody's pulsed and on fire, and it maintains our momentum. I got critical momentum here, but it's not really helping anything at all. Same with critical recovery. I have 155% headshot damage, and it's all about the 1886. This gun's a beast. Put on as much expertise as you can. Try to put on at least 12%, and then damage the targets out of cover. Determined is what you want. I'm gonna have to walk you through the mechanics to make sure you do this right. It's the same as every headshot build. You need to get a headshot kill to activate Determined and Headhunter. The way I do it is I use my stronger weapon like the Nemesis or the TAC 50 to get the first kill. Then I'm going to rotate weapons to my 1886 and get one more headshot kill. It must be a headshot kill just to turn on Determined. And that's going to take that high damage from Headhunter and use it on that target to activate Determined. And from that point forward, shoot anybody, anywhere, anytime. The foot, the chest, whatever. From time to time, you do have to redo this activation process, usually 2 or 3 times in total per control point. So one of the big advantages is that Ammo is not an issue with this build because it's easy to get at least one pistol kill to get that initial acquisition of ammo. Also, because we're running sharpshooter, when you're in cover, you're going to generate ammo for your rifle. But the ammo that drops from a single pistol kill is enough to carry you through 2 or even 3 control points, depending on your accuracy. All right, this next build is an adaptation of the best XP farm build in the game. So pay attention because I'm going to go quickly here. The foundation of the build is the same. We're still running sharpshooter. This is a pistol build. It stands out because now you don't have to worry about ammo whatsoever. Just go around one tapping everything with your pistol. What's changed for the build, because pistols inherently have a higher headshot damage, I was able to put on more protection from elites. So now, as you can see, all my mods are blue. That's all protection from elites. And then I swapped out the chest piece just because it gives me more security around that kill shot. But this is D&H for 20% more pistol damage, weapon damage, handling, headshot damage, and protection from elites, and the same headhunter talent. If I could, I would put armor here, but I just don't have that piece. The weapon damage is fine. So now we're running 5 blue cores for 50% bonus armor on kill with 20% regular armor on kill, 10% weapon damage on kill. Otherwise, for stats, my total headshot damage is now at 170% because the pistol comes with it. So if we take a look at the pistol, you have a few options here, but I like the Harvest. It's got a higher base damage here. That's the perfect stat. I don't have expertise on mine yet because I've yet to get one with damage to targets out of cover. Once I do, I would load it up. But if you have one with damage to targets out of cover, or at least damage to armor, max it out because these are really important weapons for the game. I have Determined, so the mechanics are going to be the same as in the other build. For consistency's sake, it does rely on you maintaining that damage buff from Hunter's Fury, so try to get all your kills inside 15 meters if possible. Also, again, for reliability, try to get your first headshot kill with the stronger weapon like a sniper rifle, the Nemesis, or the TAC-50, and then switch over to the pistol, get that headshot again to activate Determined, just like any headshot build, and then body shot all you want. Skill management is going to be really important when running skill builds with this season's directives, so make sure you listen up for my tips around that. Again, it goes back to the global directives, the big one being scavenge skills. When your skills get shot down or run their duration, or if you pick your turret up, going to break it, and the only way to get it back running is to pick up the scavenge component parts, the little green tiles. The other thing you want to consider is pistolero, because skill builds still use their weapons. Now, you can use a TDI card, but there's some limiting factors to that. I decided not to, and I'm running a rifle, which is the M18, and I'm running it with InSync. Now, you can also run the Harmony if you have it. I just don't have it, but the Harmony has perfect InSync. As long as the Harmony can run the laser pointer, then go with that one, get better results out of your InSync. But this one works great as an alternative because it's very powerful, so body shots on those enemies are taking them down pretty quickly. I just have damage to targets out of cover on this thing, and then regular InSync. Put crit mods on it, but don't forget the laser pointer. That's important. I'm running the capacitor as a backup. Technician's important. Make sure you have skill damage on it. It's giving us an extra skill tier. There's a lot of different skill builds out there, but I thought I'd highlight the new gear set Refactor that came with season 3. This is giving the status effects and skill damage. We're actually using both of those. The 4-piece bonus is called Return to Sender, so you're going to be healing while you're putting out skill damage to both yourself and your allies. I want you to know this is tailored specifically for the directives. Skill tier, skill damage, and skill duration. You do not want skill haste because that's a wasted slot, because there is no skill haste because of the scavenger directive. When your skill's done, there is no cooldown. Cooldown is overridden by you going out there and getting those green components. So we're rolling into maximum duration, which is, yes, for the turret, but specifically for the drone. It allows us to get more damage out of our drone through the modifier system. You'll see that in a second. To finish off the set, the Refactor set, on the gloves I have skill tier with skill damage. It's all going to look like that. The knees has an armor core because we have an extra slot, and the holster is skill tier with skill damage. For the chest, I'm running one shiny monkey for 15% skill duration, skill damage, and status effects if you can, with more skill duration. And then I'm running glass cannon, which is giving us nice 25% amplified damage to our skills with a 50% amplified damage incoming to us if we get hit. You want to stay put. You want to find a good place and minimize your movements because you're going to be dropping those scavenge components, the little green things all over the field, and you don't want to accidentally pick them up. You want to save those for when you need to reposition, or if you're your drone gets destroyed. And this thing's going to be hitting hard. The backpack is also skill duration. And then we got skill tier, skill damage. This one has hazard protection, which is fine. Otherwise, status effects would be nice. More skill duration. And then tech support. Skill kills increase total skill damage by 25% for 25 seconds. We're rolling so much into our damage for our skills. This one's really nice, and it's refreshable without you having to put out a shot. If you don't have that, run combined arms, but don't run perfect combined arms because that's on hand of you and you're going to be wasting a slot to skill haste. So I'm running the assault turret. It's going to be a tier 6, but we will be running an overcharge almost always, which is going to give us an additional 175% damage and 560 health. And then for the turret, this is with a deduction to its duration. Without the deduction from the modifier, it's actually a lot higher. So we are running at 220 seconds with all of our duration mods. That's almost 4 minutes of constant action with an additional 50% damage coming out of this. Very nice. And it will also be an overcharge almost always. Onto the modifiers. Again, you want to get to unstoppable as fast as possible and hold on to it as long as possible. You're going to be getting an additional 20% skill damage. The other thing that matters here is the skill overcharge. Use the active modifier overdrive to get to overcharge immediately when you start the fight. From that point forward, it's just maintenance. For passive modifiers, you want the momentum surge, which is kills with skills double momentum gain. Aggressive drone. This increases the striker drone's damage by 50%, but reduces its duration by 40%. We got so much duration on our build, we have that countered. And since we can't put on skill haste anyways, this just makes sense. And then you have microwave coils. Up to 4 enemies affected by pulse now receive the burn status effect. You gain 5% bonus momentum for every affected hostile. Basically, I'm turning my weapon into a skill. It's a pulse. That's why we're running technician with the rifle. That gives us link laser pointer. Also, because the rifle doesn't use much ammo. We're not going to have ammo issues here. You need to earn ammo. All you have to do is have the pistol in hand. Even if your skills get the kill, as long as your pistol's in hand, that kill will drop ammo for all of your weapons. You don't have to use glass cannon if you don't want to, but since you're hiding in cover the whole time, you might as well, in my opinion. But kinetic momentum is a great alternative. You could also run the refactor chest piece and get more heals. With this one, since you don't have bonus armor, you're going to feel that armor break more often, so your heals are going to be great, but you're also going to be using armor kits because when your armor does break, which is that directive that's doing that, then you're going to need to patch up that armor break just by using an armor kit. You can easily make an argument that the sniper build is the best one for XP farming. It's easy to make and very easy to dominate and control the entire battlefield. More importantly, it's not bothered by any of the directives. So it's built on 4 pieces of hot shot, which is going to give you a nice juicy 30% marksman rifle damage and 30% weapon handling, as well as 30% headshot damage. The talent's called Headache. Basically, on your second consecutive hit, you're going to get 20% more damage. The following consecutive hit is going to give you 10% armor. If you're already full, it's going to give you bonus armor up to 50% of your max armor value. The third consecutive headshot will refill the magazine. Free ammo. Because we're running a one-shot, one-kill build, ammo is not going to be an issue anyways. Of course, it's a sniper, so we're running sharpshooter. This is also giving us ammo as long as we stay in cover, which is the strategy for this build. To the gear set, from the 4th headshot forward, agents will get all 3 bonuses for each consecutive headshot kill, and then missing a headshot will reset the cycle. Now, all of that sounds tough. We're running determined, which makes everything really easy. You still miss with determined because enemy movements are redunk. Either way, earning those bonuses are not difficult. You do not have to be a headshot pro to be a pro with this build. You only need to get 1 headshot kill, activate determined and headhunter, and then from there you can shoot any part of the enemy's body. I do recommend using the White Death. It's hands down one of the best. I'm running the digital scope with additional stability, reload speed. I have weapon expertise on mine. I recommend putting at least 12% just to get yours started. This is a weapon you want to invest in. A perfect talent is 137% headshot damage. That's higher than most snipers. And then we got 10% damage to targets out of cover. The talent is determined, which means once you activate it with the headshot kill, every shot thereafter, as long as you have headhunter, your chest talent active, will be considered a headshot kill. Very easy to maintain. For the backup weapon, I'm running the Mantis. You can do whatever here. This is just fun for me. But the Mantis gives you unlimited decoys. I have the decoy and the tactician drone here. So the tactician drone is going to give us 15% amplified damage when on overcharge, which is basically always, and it's going to catch everybody on fire and it's going to pulse them. So pulse, Everybody's on fire, and then we're going to get our momentum because of that. The decoy is going to do the same thing. Any enemy that targets it will be pulsed and therefore will catch on fire, and they're not shooting at us. So with this build, as long as you have good position, don't expect to take a whole lot of damage. What's neat about the Mantis is that it's going to replace or give you your decoy back, and it's going to override the scavenge skills directive. So you have unlimited decoys here without ever having to leave your comfy little hideout. This does require you to actually get a headshot kill, so there's that. If it bothers you to switch out of Determined to get a headshot kill with Mantis so you can get a decoy, then don't. You're killing so fast, everybody's on fire, and it's not that big of a deal. So everything's basically just headshot damage. You can put armor on this. You can put protection from elites on this. You're in cover. Nobody's shooting you. You're safe. So we got weapon damage and headshot damage everywhere. Feel free to put on a little bit more weapon handling if you want to. I'm running 2 pieces of Habsburg for 20% marksman rifle damage, 13% headshot damage. This comes with armor, putting us at 1.1, which is very comfortable. Got some handling headshot damage. Of course, Headhunter. Goal here is to be at least 150% headshot damage. The weapon alone gets you there. So we are strong. That's what gives you the ability to kill. For the backpack, look, this one's up to you. You can do whatever you want. Damage is not an issue. Vigilance is a great backpack talent for this, and so is Bloodsucker for bonus armor. So I thought I'd have some fun and put on Creeping Death here, Perfect Creeping Death. So when you apply a status effect, Pulse, it also applies to all enemies within 10 meters of your target. Cooldown is 10 seconds. That's great, right? And then I have a status effects roll and headshot damage. I'm actually playing into the microwave coils. Up to 4 enemies affected by Pulse now receive the burn status effect. So any of those 4 enemies have a chance to spread the fire. And notice microwave coils doesn't have a cooldown, so that can just keep spreading. I'm running Reaper Scan because I'm playing from cover and I'm playing solo. But if you're playing in group, you might not want to run Reaper Scan. It's gonna nerf your allies. But this just ensures that I stay in overcharge all the time. And then I'm running Overclocked Projector. This is neither here nor there. But when the decoy goes down, it's gonna give me some bonus momentum and blind a couple of enemies. And then I have Overdrive. You don't really need this, to be honest with you, because the scanner pulse gets you to overcharge very quickly. Either way, there you are. And just like the other ones, we're looking to maintain unstoppable. Mostly for this build, it's going to be all about that skill overcharge. And the reload speed is nice too. We're at 350% headshot damage, and then weapon handling, we're at 38%. You don't need many of them. One deployment of the tactician drone should be good for an entire control point. So you're only going to need like 3 of those scavenge points to reset it when you're done with your control point. Here are some quick tips for farming XP. The devs have done an extremely thorough job of ensuring there is no one activity that stands out to be the best XP activity in the game. You hear a lot of people saying that it's public executions on challenging with 4 directives, and I understand why they say that, but it's really not, because I can achieve the same amount of XP, if not more, and get more loot doing a route through control points or even a territory zonal play. That being said, public executions are one of the 3 best XP activities in the game, no doubt. My personal favorite is to do control points in the East Mall, the Southwest, the Potomac Park, but specifically around the Monument. These are excellent zones to farm XP because you're facing the true suns. They're more, or I should probably say, less annoying when it comes to farming XP, especially when you have special ammo as one of the directives. So each faction has their own type of special ammo. Hyenas get disorient. The outcasts will catch you on fire with a single bullet. The true sons, they make you bleed, which is not as much of a deal. Another really good farm is to just do this roundabout area here. Go around the monument as many times as you can and just take out every activity in your way. If you want to, you can leave the control points, like don't take them out. As long as you do that, then more activities will spawn. And this gives you the same amount of XP as doing public executions or just control points, but you're getting more diverse gameplay and you're still fighting the true sons. If you're using one of the builds that I recommended, you can just farm public executions on heroic with all 5 directives and do just these. So take one out, don't do the bounties, collect the bounties. You can pick up the bounty and just cancel it and just look for the next one on the map and just find your closest fast travel point to that. These are very easy activities. That's why a lot of people choose them. Unlike control points that host mostly heroic enemies, public executions are going to give you normies and veterans and only a few elites, but more importantly, there's no named bosses. Control points will give you more XP per activity, but also take longer. Not by much. Now, if you made it this far, here's a bonus round, and it's all about those public executions. For those of you that are interested in playing on challenging and taking on those public executions really fast, then this is the build for you. You're going to want to run Firewall because the torch is the strongest source of fire and you get lots of ammo. For weapons, the mop is a great primary. It's going to give you some damage to armor, which helps the fire, armor on kill to help you survive, and then you're going to get in sync to give that fire a little more burst. Now, it's all about the Eclipse protocol. The idea is to do very little manual output. Let the gear set do all the work. So we have status effects, skill haste, Has-Pro, and then indirect transmission, which is the ability to spread the status effect on kill to nearby enemies. And the chest piece is going to give that bigger range and a greater refresh of the status effect. I have status effect and I have skill duration because I was running the pulse earlier. You could put protection from elites or anything you want otherwise. Skill haste isn't going to help because we're running directives. The backpack is going to give you additional amplified damage to status affected targets. That amp damage is going to make your skill stronger. Very good here, as well as your weapon. So status effect and duration. Again, change the mod to whatever makes sense for you. Skill tier status effects for the gloves. The knees are skill tier status effects. The holster, I wish I had something better here. So I ran skill damage with skill damage and status effects. You'd actually be better off with like Electrique or Golan. You'd want 6 skill tiers, but more status effects would be better than skill damage in this instance. However, skill damage is fine. You do want both. And the mask is the vial. This is going to add an extra layer of damage or a damage over time tick to anything that gets hit with a status effect. So this is called toxic delivery. You don't have to think about anything. This just kicks in. For skills, you're going to want to run the fire starter chem launcher. This is sort of a backup. And then otherwise, you're going to mostly be using the burn sticky bomb like once. So you kick off the fight with the burn sticky bomb, let everybody die. If you have a straggler, hit them with the fire chem. Use your weapon to speed things up by activating in sync, and then anticipate the spawn and hit the first enemy you see with the torch. Don't overdo it with the torch. You just need to get the fire rolling. It'll do the rest. The reason why people use this on challenging is because if you have an abundance of elite NPCs, they don't die fast enough for Eclipse to spread far enough. For modifiers, you're gonna want active modifier. This is gonna make your skills very strong. Everybody should be toast. I have kills with skills, double momentum gain. This is gonna help you earn and then maintain your momentum on overcharge. And then explosive expertise for the sticky. So explosive skill kills reduce the cooldown of that skill by 30% if you score a multi-kill. None of the other modifiers made sense. All right, Bandidos, you're set to rock the battlefield and rake in some XP. Let me know which of these builds and strategies is your go-to down in the comments. And if you got any tips to share, please do. Catch you on the next one. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm Tuxedo Bandido. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on the good stuff I have coming for you. And if you like content like this, be sure to check out the video I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you would like me to cover, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make things possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be the same without you.
When you buy a game from Ubisoft, enter the creator code Tuxedo Bandido to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Wait, did we just become best friends?